I could live on the street.
Also, when it gets below 0, I'd let you sleep on my couch
Okay. Thanks.
for $50 a night.
You're basically an Airbnb for homeless people.
Exit just you.
Yeah, just me.
I'm an Austin B&B.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the Pflum and Fro Show. My name is Austin Pflum, and with me, as always,
Anthony Gorman.
It's gonna be a special episode this week, folks. For one reason particular.
Why is that?
It's because you're wearing a red shirt, and red's my favorite color. No, that's not why. That's not why.
Yeah.
It's because we actually also, in addition to Anthony, we have another guest who is slightly closer to my life than most of the guests that we normally get.
How so?
Because we share a last name. It's my dad.
Oh my God, that's your dad?
My dad's on the podcast. Jerry Pflum.
It's me. I'm here.
It's me.
He's very excited to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. How do you feel about it?
It's awesome. I feel like I'm setting a couple celebrities.
It's cool. That's the illusion that we've given people. So
internet, far. In our small crevice in the internet.
Yeah. Does it feel like the other podcasts that you listen to? Like if you imagine being, because you listen to a lot of podcasts too.
Oh, really?
I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Rich Roll podcast. Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
There's one called Line Divine or something. It's about healing and mindfulness and stuff. And
that's cool.
Mind Body Green. They got one too.
Cool. What got you into podcasting? Was it just to kill downtime or like driving or something?
Exercise and just overall health.
Okay.
Read a book called Finding Ultra by Rich Roll.
Okay.
About marathons and how to prepare for them and how he went through a midlife crisis. And he's got his own podcast.
Oh, so that you kind of like started listening to him.
Started checking him out, and he interviews all these top level performers in all kind of different areas. And
that sounds like that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So did you say that book is what got you into podcasts? How did you discover that book? Or did you just kind of get into health stuff in general, and then it kind of found its way?
It kind of found its way.
Gotcha.
I think I read the China Study book, and they had mentioned Rich Roll being a vegan athlete.
I see.
Okay.
So I checked him out, and found out he had a podcast. And
it's funny how like all it takes is like one person that like you're kind of interested, like me with Joe Rogan, and you're like,
There's the Joe Rogan plug for the week.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I haven't really brought him up that much, but that was like the internet.
I
I kept hearing the same thing, and I'm like, oh, and everybody, on this site that I really like their opinions on things, so I just gave it a shot, kind of like, and then
yeah, I've been meaning to check out that Joe Rogan. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's kind of out there like sometimes, but like you were saying, like have different guests and things,
sure,
kind of in the same whatever, but that's what makes podcasts interesting, why we like having guests, because it just adds a different perspective on even the same subject matters over and over again. Like even if because Austin and I are into like techie stuff, games, and just general things like that, but it's good to have a guest that have different ideas and backgrounds, like
Yeah, sure.
Like
that's why people like Dave, because Dave comes on and steamrolls everything that we say.
Yeah, right. Well, he's a unique guy.
Shout out to Dave real quick. Thank you so much for coming on last week. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We enjoyed having you on.
Thanks for steamrolling us.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for... I bring you on specifically to call me out, and you succeeded in just that, so I appreciate it deeply.
It was The World According to Dave episode. That was good.
Yes.
Yeah, that is good.
Right.
Yeah, good job, Dave.
Yeah, good job, Dave. So podcasts, the big reason that I kind of decided to have you on now was that you're running for political office on the local level.
Yep.
Right now. So that's a really interesting topic that not a lot of people get insight on, is running for political office. And especially during this like political season, even if it's on the county level, I think having the perspective from inside is valuable. So
just on the process of everything revolving around that.
So for a little bit of background really quickly, you decided to run for county commissioner, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So what made you decide to run for county commissioner in the first place? And why did you decide to take up arms? Why did you decide that you're done with the system and you're going to take it by the reins and make it your own?
It's not a spectator sport. That's what somebody quoted, and they were correct. And it probably started a couple of years ago. I'd actually emailed the head of the Democratic Party, and I was fed up with what was going on at the school and all the legislation coming down, destroying basically teachers in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
And I asked him how I could get involved.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago. And he invited me to one of the meetings, and he had asked me to run for something else prior to this, and it just wasn't right and didn't feel right. And so he approached me prior to this election and said, "Hey, we got this spot open. I think you'd be a good fit." And
oh wow,
that's how it worked out.
So what does it take to get on their radar? Like you
can if you are just simply. If you go to a primary and you pull a Republican ticket or a Democratic ticket and you're quote unquote registered as one or the other, you are allowed to just walk in the office and say, "I'm a Republican and I would like to run for this office." You don't have to be carried by a certain party or backed by a certain party.
Wait, hold on. So I can enter in something right now?
Yep.
Exactly.
I see where your brain is going right
I
now.
might have to do some Googling tonight. I'll be secretary or something.
I'll be your running mate.
Yeah. They'll be like, "Sir, you don't need a running mate for this." Be like, "No, it's a package deal."
There's 2 people on the ballot.
There's two people.
Yeah, I'm voting for P-Funk and Fro on November 8th.
Those are not your legal names. Be like, "We'll get it changed."
We're running for county emperor.
Yeah, I want to be emperor.
The emperor of Hamilton County.
There you go.
So that's interesting. I had no idea you could just walk in. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, obviously it helps to have like backgrounds and you know, not just some like Anthony from the street.
Yeah, did it help knowing somebody inside that kind of like, do you have to have some sort of support before you're actually on the ballot or?
Yes. I mean, and obviously you do, and in a big city like this, it's way different than Rising Sun, Indiana. Even though it's you still have to take it seriously. But I mean, if you're going to run for something in Hamilton County, obviously
you need some money and
some background, some backing, and some knowledge about things on a large scale.
That makes sense.
Where we're at, you still need. I mean, money helps obviously because I mean, Austin helped me with most of the stuff and your business cards and signs and it's all to come out of your own pocket. And the party does help a little bit, but they don't have the fundraising capability that a big city does or a big party in
that makes sense.
Hamilton County.
They probably channel their money. That's why.
Yeah, so you're pretty much not all on your own, but more so than a big city.
It's felt very independent so far.
Oh, I see. Yeah, independent. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just I went to a meeting and they made a motion to put me on a ballot for this position, and from there it's good luck.
So do you have any opposition currently?
I do. I'm running against, I believe she's been in office 24 years.
Oh, wow.
Been there a while. She's a long-standing Republican in the county, and so it's an uphill battle.
So she's the incumbent right now?
She's the incumbent, yep. And the name and face everybody knows.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's uphill battle, like you said. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So what spurred this from the beginning? So you decided you want to make a change, blah, blah, blah. Was there one thing in particular or like a couple things in particular? You said education. You mentioned education. And especially since you're a teacher and you've been a teacher for a while. How long have you been teaching now?
14 years.
Okay, so you've been the automotive technology teacher at the vocational school in Versailles, Indiana for 14 years. So you obviously you've got a deep connection to that kind of system and that culture and how that works and you believe, and I've heard a lot of your stories about how it's not always treated the best way that it can possibly be treated on the county level as well as especially the state level and the federal level. So you're saying that's what really spurred you to take action is the education system and how there are a lot of problems with it? It was.
I never was a political person. I started following politics probably when everybody started following politics. It's 2007, after that 8-year run after 9/11 and the auto industry collapsing. And the auto industry is near and dear to my heart, so I'd followed those congressional hearings and all that. And I'm watching all this BS on all the news channels. I'm like, that ain't really what's going on. You know, these guys don't have a clue what's really going on here in the real world with the auto industry or whatever. Right, on the streets. And then as an instructor, an educator, new legislation passed. They didn't ask any of the teachers for input before they did it. It's just like one thing after another, and it's like, holy crap, something's got to change. Yeah. I don't know if I can fix it. Yeah. But that's kind of what spurred it on.
Yeah. Right.
Well, it's good you have someone with like experience actually, doing the teaching and has been in it for quite a while. It sounds like that you can get a fresh perspective on things that maybe the incumbent, I don't know, is so ingrained on. I mean, 24 years is a long time to kind of just get comfortable with policy and just cronyisms. I'm not inferring that. And blackmailing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Right. And a lot of things, even though, I mean, I talk about education as being the catalyst, which it was, but as a county commissioner, I have some effect over local schools potentially.
Okay.
You know, where money gets spent. You know, if things came up, but really just to get involved at the local level to maybe be a catapult to something farther ahead at the state level.
Okay.
You know, to try and get some things changed there. So who knows?
Yeah.
You know, but you can't stand on the sidelines. You got to get involved and at least see how it works, see what you can change, and deal with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I just got a text from an old friend. It's funny coming back home and seeing your dad's name on signs everywhere. So I definitely think people are noticing, and it seems like, I mean, I haven't seen many signs for the other person. So
do you have like yard signs or?
They're out there.
Oh, they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there. Matter of fact, there's some yards that have both of them, mine and hers. So
what? Conflicting households.
Well, so
they are. You know, they might be a Republican household, so they'll put all the Republican signs. But it's like, hey, we know you. You know, we can support you too. So just go out there and put yours next to hers.
Little hint of Democrat. Here in the bushes.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of red and then one blue.
Right.
That is an interesting thing, though. You've said a lot that you see. You're running as the Democratic candidate. Obviously, it's funny that you say you see a bunch of yards that have Donald Trump signs in them, and then next to the Donald Trump sign is like your sign. So it's like, in a very Republican concentrated county, you're somehow penetrating that in some kind of way. What do you think it is about you to make people comfortable with hopping the fence, at least for this one?
I think because it's a local election, I don't know if they feel like you're not having as large of an impact as if they were to vote for like a straight Republican ticket.
Yeah.
They're okay to sway for this one time on a local level, or or maybe two times or whatever. But it's just refreshing that they're not going to vote a straight ticket.
Yeah, that is.
No matter Democrat or Republican, people have to get past that party thing and just vote for the people. Until we do that, it's going to be a mess.
That's what's kind of frustrating about the system, just like growing up through it, is just, man, there's like such a divide, and like it's so heated. Like everybody's just like one or the other. You're with us or against us. But that seems like humans in general. But that is
nothing but a sports team.
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
Everyone. Yeah, that's what frustrates me the most is like people look at one side and they get frustrated at that one side, so they think the other side must be the good guy.
The exact opposite.
Yeah, the exact opposite. So they align themselves with that quote-unquote team, and they don't do any research about that. They're only like Googling like negative things about the other person to like put up their like opinions and
anything that makes it look good what they're currently in.
Exactly, and it perpetuates the system. It frustrates me. So yeah, I totally agree. Like anything that can get people to kind of cross party lines and actually think about like, and especially since they know you, and a lot of people know you, and they're like, okay, he's not a crook, obviously.
Yeah. I'm not.
My kid was on.
Don't use that.
My kid was on.
I am not a crook.
My kid was on his baseball team.
Yeah,
I know this guy. He was a good first base coach.
So I think on a local level, people are more apt to.
That makes sense.
Pick individuals instead of parties. Trust me, there's still a lot of diehard both.
Yeah,
and they're just going to go in and pull one ticket or the other, and that's a shame. But that's the way they're raised, and it's the way they are. And,
but it's hard to fight against that kind of thing.
And isn't Indiana in general is a real red state?
Yeah,
it is. I think President Obama carried it last election, though.
Really?
I think he did
really?
carry it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he did. And our last city election went all, not all, but mainly Democrat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know that it's, and I'm hoping it's a trend that people are looking at candidates and not parties.
Right. Like historical.
Yeah, because I guess encouraging to me when I see a good person get elected to an office.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's Democrat or Republican. I don't jump off rooftops if it's a whole Democratic sweep.
Yeah.
I do believe in a lot of their ideas and philosophies, but if somebody I know is a really good, genuine person, he's on the Republican side and he gets office, then I'm happy with that too. That's
cool.
That's just
more of that thinking.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just the way it. And I wasn't always that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't either.
Me, and I'm not. And people that know me are like, man, you're a hardcore Democrat. I've never really been a Democrat per se. I just could never be a Republican because just of the being a union background. My dad was a union worker.
Oh, okay.
I grew up, middle class. If you were working stiff, you were a union, you were a Democrat, and that's the way I was raised. And so you start looking at each party and what they believe, and so I don't disagree with the Democrats. I'm proud to be on the party, but I can see some things from the other side too that make sense.
Yeah, I think we talked that like pretty extensively how we both were kind of in agreement. Like we like some of each, and it's like, man, why can't we have like this magical third party?
Yeah,
that just fits all of our, We want social things with guns, and no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Put some dash of guns in there, and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then poof, poof. And you probably get some monster. That's like horrible. It's like worse than Trump. Oh, what have we done?
That's Gary Johnson.
That's scary.
What
have we done?
Looking at the skirt of a mountain. Did you see that quote?
What?
I don't know. He was talking about climbing Mount Everest or something. And they were like, oh, so you climbed Mount Everest. And he said something like, I didn't just climb that mountain. I looked up his skirt and I did something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what?
Oh, my God.
Gary Johnson. He's such a kook.
He's probably...
He's such a strange man.
That's weird.
That's what happens when you get something in the middle, Anthony.
Oh, no. Some monstrosity.
But yeah, I definitely think that's the way that I hope things are going. Somewhere in the middle where people aren't necessarily aligned to one side or the other.
Opening things up, but honestly, a lot on the internet is just us versus them still. It's so ingrained in
it still is,
our genetics.
It's funny you say that on the front page of the Star today. I guess it was the anxiety about this election. People are going to doctors and stuff because of all anxiety. And they said it's being fueled by social media.
Yeah.
The internet, social media, it's just like nonstop.
Yeah. And I read that 1/3 of Trump's tweets are bots. Like they're not even like real people.
I believe it.
And
it's not even paid interns.
Right. They're literal internet robot things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a couple of headlines about that stress thing, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if it's because this is the first cycle that I've been kind of stepping back.
Yeah.
Because I hate both options. But
I think that's the thing is that everyone hates both. Like everyone either hates both or passionately hates the other one.
Yeah,
like,
they're just picking one that they hate less.
A lot of elections you have people that are like, I really don't like the other candidate, but if he gets elected, I'm fine with that. In this election, it's like everyone passionately hates at least one of the sides.
I'm voting this person just so that person doesn't get in.
Exactly. So you have friends and like family that are like fighting because they can't believe anyone would have any other opinion than them.
I can see that. Yeah, that could be really. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a monster that's been created.
Yeah.
I mean, whichever party you want to blame, the monster has been created and fueled by social media because, I mean, the whole, we're going to make him a one-term president and, for 4 years we're going to do nothing but just obstruct.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And it's negative. And you start creating this big negative monster. Mm-hmm. And now here we are. Yeah. This is what you get and it needs to start backpedaling. And
yeah, because like, what about next? I mean, this seems like it's exponentially getting crazier.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it before, but it seems like, I mean, the reason Trump is so successful is that he's anti a lot of the things that are typical for politicians.
Yeah.
He's like using his own money, whatever. Yeah. He's like seems to be standing up against politicians and like saying what he thinks, even though that's not true because he lies all the time.
Yeah.
But he seems to be that way. So it seems like it's refreshing to people and they want to see more of that. So I'm kind of optimistic. Like I'm hoping that next election cycle that people will get behind a candidate that's refreshing in that way, but also not an egotistical psychopath.
Yeah.
So this may be, in some way, a step in the right direction. Hopefully.
Just to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, just to shake it up.
Let me ask your honest opinion, though. Do you think a normal person that wants to go anti-establishment even has a prayer in the world with all the money it takes to get to that point?
Oh, no.
I mean, even what was his name? Who did Hillary beat? I already forgot his name.
Bernie Sanders.
Even Bernie Sanders.
But he's been in politics for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah. Even he couldn't do it.
Oh, right.
Even he couldn't fight against the machine.
Well, he kind of, had things against him, but
at the same time, wouldn't it be like a big headline that the internet would just latch onto if like a YouTuber ran for president and got this backing? Like, can't you see that happening? Like, can't you see that happening with Twitter?
Like with the internet age when it gets so pervasive. Yeah, I mean, it's already
like somebody from like a podcast or something runs for president and they get some kind of support. Like, I can totally see like the parties wouldn't want that to happen because the parties want solidarity and they want nothing to change. But
it would have to be someone that it would probably unfortunately have to be a celebrity, I think, to get any like non-politician politician in there, just because they would have the
Kanye.
Hashtag not Kanye. We're gonna have to start doing that.
Like, get some hats made.
No, yeah, not Kanye.
Make America that just could happen. Not Kanye.
Yeah, and then it could be like Kanye and Kardashian. Those are the two options. Like, what? How is this now our options?
I think what you get with that though too is if you get a celebrity, I think part way through it, which is what I think Trump's going through now, you would be like, what have I done? You know, what if I get this? You know, you got to walk into the
celebrity.
You got to walk in the Oval Office, and they're going to lay papers on your desk and say, okay, here's a potential World War III.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with Syria? What are you going to do with Russia? What are you going to do with whatever? And there's millions of lives at stake, and you got to make that choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's all fun and games and big propaganda, and then you get the job, and it's like, uh-oh.
He was mentioning that earlier. He was saying that Trump was just what do you call it, like a shake-up candidate?
Yeah, shake-up candidate, yeah.
And he never really thought he was going to get this far. And now it's kind of like an ego-based like rage going on or something.
Yeah, that's what one of his like previous campaign like advisors was saying. Like she quit his campaign and was saying these things. Like this is what he was meant to do.
Yeah, and it almost seems like he's like self-sabotaging, but it keeps like working. So he's just like,
nothing he says hurts his polling.
I think he said he could pull out a gun and like start shooting people, and he was still. Probably. He said something like that. Yeah. It was just like, what? Who is this guy?
Yeah, I know, it's insane. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah, it is crazy. Don't know how to fix it, but hopefully we'll move in a good direction after this.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, on to a little bit more uplifting,
encouraging
topics, because elections, interesting, juicy. Hope you enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen.
But everybody's stressed about it.
Yeah, but everybody's stressed about it. So let's move on a little bit. So you mentioned earlier about being brought up middle class and how grandpa was union. We're family, so he's my grandpa. He said dad when he said it. But
grandpa.
I say grandpa. But grandpa was union or whatever. And you were kind of raising that lifestyle. So let's talk a little bit about the different jobs you've had. Because you also mentioned being ingrained in the automotive industry and whatever.
Yeah.
So what was your first automotive job, and what are some other ones that you've had throughout the years that have ended up with you in this position?
Junior in high school, went to work for a race engine building shop.
Oh, wow.
It started there and worked there in senior year also, and got out, graduated high school, and went back to worked there a couple of years, and then left and tried the whole factory deal. There was way more money in that.
Like working on the line?
Yeah, it was a couple of different factory jobs, and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The money was way better, but I went back to building race engines, and then left there and was a flat rate technician at Ford for 4 years. So that's kind of the automotive background. From there, it led into I had opened my own shop. We built Cobra 1966 Cobra replica kit cars. Oh,
wow, yeah.
Which is interesting because they were imported from South Africa.
Damn. My dad was always interested in those, like getting a kit and like making one.
Yeah, we built one, me and Dad, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one we did, we built it, came as a bare frame and like 15 boxes.
Wow.
Here it is, go build your car.
And then you had like buy an engine, drivetrain.
That one was based on a 5-liter Mustang. You could buy a 5-liter, and it was a donor car, and all the parts fit.
Yeah.
So you just used that.
I love the sound of 5.0. I'm a Camaro dude.
That's all right. I won't hold that against you.
Yeah, I understand. Like hearing you talk about the 5.0, but I will say, on those Mustang, I think they were in the Fox body or whatever, the square ones. It would turn my head when they drive by, and it sounds good. Yeah,
they're pretty sweet.
It's a nice engine.
So it led to the being self-employed at the shop, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal for a while it lasted. Most of our customers was high-end doctors, lawyers, had 401k money they wanted to spend. They always wanted one of these cars. So they'd come, we'd sell them the car, we'd build the engine, install it, and deliver it. And we were doing about 100 a year.
Yeah.
120 cars a year.
So one would take like an average of just like, 2-3 weeks?
My brain got lost in the math.
I'm horrible with math. I'm just guessing right now.
Yeah, what you got to realize is the ones we were doing then were, like I said, came from South Africa, which blows people's minds. It's an American muscle car you're selling. They're made in South Africa.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But it was a factory in South Africa, and it was on an assembly line. They were turning these things out on an assembly line.
Just for the frame?
The whole car would come in complete, painted, everything.
Wow.
We would simply have to build the engine, complete the wiring, and deliver it to the customer.
Wow, and this is all they did?
That's all they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. And it wasn't Cobra, it was like Factory 5 or something, wasn't it?
Factory 5 was the last one we did that had all of the boxes you had to assemble it. These were Superformance, and they were it was interesting talking to them when they would come over from South Africa, because you're like trying to get insight into what's going on over there with the country and stuff.
You do not ask about that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering at first, because I'd heard that the unemployment rate's like 60%.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep. It's crazy over there. Where they built the cars was like a world inside a world.
Oh, wow.
Nobody messed with it. But it was cool, talking to them, another country. And
yeah, that sounds interesting. I would have never guessed that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
Unpredictable.
got in the middle of it. They were interesting people.
I may have seen one you built because every car show or cruise-in I would go to, there was always a couple Cobras there.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the most popular cars, it seems.
Blue with the white stripes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So nice.
They look good. They sound good. Yeah.
It was cool riding in it when you built it with the top down or whatever. Because we passed somebody that I went to school with, and they looked back, and you could see their jaw drop. Like, what?
Oh, my God.
What is he in right now?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was just horrible. We had to test drive every one of them.
It
was just terrible,
Right.
But it was cool. That's kind of the automotive background. And then when 9/11 hit, obviously the stock market crashed. Yeah. Everybody that had money lost everything, and so nobody was buying toys anymore, and the phone quit ringing.
That's true.
Yeah, so that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Is that what led into your teaching?
That's what led into teaching.
And then here we are now.
Okay.
Do you like teaching?
That was a
good question.
I feel like if you didn't like teaching, you wouldn't still be doing it.
I wouldn't, and I do. I do like teaching. Right. I do enjoy the kids.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part.
You haven't seen ones that punched glass out of punch glass out.
There's always a bad apple.
Yeah. And there's bad years.
There's several nothing but
bad apples. But they're you gotta remember they come from a different place. When they leave their whatever their home life is.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
They carry a lot more stuff with them than I ever did going to school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I end up being like a teacher and a therapist and a mentor and all this for everyone.
It's kind of how the job has to change, I think. I think we're at a crossroads with education, too, not just politics.
Yeah.
That the old model can't work anymore because the basics the kids used to get at home, they're not getting. So they're showing up at school needing those basics, and it kind of pushes everything onward down the line.
Yeah.
And even colleges are getting a majority of kids that aren't prepared and aren't mature. Not that college kids are mature.
Yeah.
But
right. They're not ready.
Right. That are ready to do what they need to do.
Right. Grown adults, basically.
Right.
Man, your mom or my mom and you could like have tons of conversations because I mean, she was like mentoring kids and things like that, and it just got to like a burnout point.
Yeah.
I think. And like the administration always sides with the parents, even though the parents may not be doing like kind of what you said.
Yep.
And it's just like the kids against the teachers. It's always the kids that come out. And so it's basically you're like just thrown out in the wild for her. I don't know. That's just kind of like the gist I get. And like the fact that you said maybe like not getting the best like upbringing or whatever, like, man, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's like a whole second job.
Being the scapegoat for
and like a lot of teachers probably aren't qualified to deal with that. I don't know.
Sure. And
it's like
it's easy to point the finger at it because it's like you can't prove one way or the other whether you're a good teacher. It's like
because that's like an X factor that's just no one talks about.
Yeah, you see that like at work with us because like we'll do teaching or whatever, and if something's not working out, right, the first finger that gets pointed is like, oh well, there's a problem with the training. We're gonna have to relook at the training and reorganize it again. Right. So it's like in everything. It's not just like teaching, but it's like whenever training's involved.
Yeah,
it is.
I can see how that can be exhausting. Yeah, I never really thought of it like that.
And if you think about it, I side with the kids most of the time because if I showed up to school and I haven't had a meal for 3 days,
oh wow,
I could give a crap if I pass this test or not.
Exactly.
You know, put my name on it, hand it back in. What do I care about that? I don't even have food.
Oh,
not that all the kids are to that point. Don't get me wrong, but
still,
but there's quite a few. It's sad.
Wow.
But the kids, for the most part, they're all good-hearted. It's tough to get to some of them sometimes, but they're trying.
That's good.
They're trying, but you talk about the mental aspect of it. It drains you. It really does.
I can see it because
you don't realize it. I mean, when I was a technician working on cars, you're on concrete all day for 10 hours. You're working over your head. It's a physical job, and you're tired. Yeah. But I'm way more tired at the end of the week.
Wow.
Because of the mental strain.
Yeah, because like just all that baggage that, like, man. That sounds like weighty, 2 jobs in one. Yeah. Right. I just never, I guess, thought of it that way. Yeah, teaching is such especially for this developed of a country, teaching, it sounds like, is just
thankless.
Something is thankless and it's like overlooked for all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. Like people get paid in other professions that, I mean, these are kids that are being raised up by,
it's like the future.
This industry of teaching, if you will.
Exactly.
And it's basically the future of our country, honestly.
Exactly. It's just the long and short of it.
So like you said, kids go into school to these like, where they're almost becoming like college is now like the new high school. So they're like just dumping all these kids into college. They get in debt and they're not really ready.
Yeah.
They're not prepared as adults.
And they just get pushed through because that's how the machine works.
And we're already like, just on Reddit, I see like just tons of people they get out of college. They have $20,000 to $60,000 in debt. And then they're like, now what? And no one tells them what is.
Right. It's just, it's just like college is the correct thing to do no matter what you're doing. That's what's served up to people when they grow up.
Exactly.
And they don't have an action plan to do something after that.
It's just assumed that you go there.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess I kind of was through the same. It was just assumed I go there, but that
was too, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, my parent, like I remember like they just went like, what do you want to do? And like this and that. So there was a lot of help along the way with that.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't know. Now it just seems like a big debt factory. Yeah. Just pumping out kids.
Yeah.
Yep. I think on attention.net or...
Yeah, I started following that after you told me about it.
Yeah.
They have some interesting articles
like in 1975, the college tuition, you could actually work a summer job and pay off a year's worth of college tuition. 70% of it was covered by the state.
Yeah.
Now 23% is covered by the state through grants or whatever, and you can't even come close to paying a fourth of it through a summer job. Yeah. So it's just a big fuel money mess. Yeah,
and there's lots of suicides related to just the stress of working and college, and I mean, I had it easy, but I could see how it definitely becomes a major life stress.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That's attn.com, by the way, attention.com. It's I started following it on Twitter too, and they tweet a bunch of really interesting articles pretty regularly about just like anything, life stuff, politics stuff.
Oh, cool.
Anything. So I definitely recommend you check that out. But yeah, so it's like you said, it's a big machine and it's hard to get anything changed. You look at other countries and teachers are held on a pedestal.
Oh,
because other countries understand that like this is the future. This is our entire country that we're putting on the backs of these people, and they're revered and respected. And you look here at one of the most developed countries in the world, and it's like they're the scapegoats for everything,
right?
And the butt of every law that gets passed.
Yeah,
and it's like, what happened here?
Constant
like, how do we even fix
defunding.
this?
No one wants to vote for the levy. Everybody's not wanting to put money in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I watched like a documentary, I think it was like Sweden or Norway, where their schools are just like, holy cow. Like all the kids are...
Yeah.
And it just looks like an environment conductive of like whatever.
Learning.
Yeah.
Conducive to learning.
Conducive to learning, yeah.
Like learning and happiness.
And it just, everything seemed happy. And I know like introducing TV cameras changes things, but... You could put TV cameras in some schools, and I know you're gonna get like the cameraman's gonna get punched in the face. The shoe's gonna get stolen. Just one shoe. It's not gonna make any sense.
Right.
We don't even want the shoes.
Right. Yeah.
We just don't like you.
And then so it was weird watching that doc. I can't even remember. It was so long ago. But it was just like, oh man, like geez, this is completely different.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, we live in a good country. We just do some things really wrong. Yeah. Really wrong. I mean, if you look at like the Norway, Sweden areas over there, they have like a 50% income tax.
That's true too.
They have no stress. Their college is paid for. Their retirement's paid for.
Health insurance.
Health insurance is paid for. Yeah. If you add up what we pay for health insurance, what we pay for college education, we probably pay close to that.
Yeah.
But we have the stress, and we get nothing guaranteed in return.
Right. Yeah. They're not in massive debt. College is
Yeah, and everybody always says, well, you get everybody's supposed to get everything paid. You're not getting it for free.
Yeah,
you're paying your taxes
and
you're getting it. So, but that's another media brainwashing thing.
Right, because people start going down that tax road. And it's like, did you drive here? Taxes paid for that. You're using like the power lines and everything like that. The mail.
Right.
That's right. Clean air, taxes. Safe airlines, taxes. It goes on and on and on.
Right. Yeah, so we actually do have a lot of socialist type things going on that just people don't talk about, like with taxing.
And a lot of them work. I mean, the majority of them work. If you look at healthcare, Medicare, my mom went through it, and she had several hospital bills when she was sick before she passed away, and she had more options for doctors and hospitals on Medicare than I had on my private plan.
Really?
They paid more. Wow. It was flawless. It was seamless. It worked great. So we really have national health care from when you're 65 and older.
And up,
But 65 and down, we're getting screwed.
Yeah, it does seem like it's just a big money pit. But
yeah, and it's a hard sell because, like you said, when people see 50% income tax, they're like,
the government's taking my money.
But they don't see, like, once you do all the calculations and everything adds up, and it ends up being cheaper. Like they don't see that. They don't see
Yeah,
that.
I think we're
it's
just
hard to change
ingrained. Yeah, anything like that's just considered like socialism.
Yeah,
I'm not like 100%, but I definitely see whatever.
Yeah, I'm
like
not saying
Canada
that plan would work here or would not, but we need something along those lines.
Different. Like when Obama was doing his healthcare thing, I was hoping he was going to change it much more than he actually did. But I mean, it's a little step. It's going to take a while.
And it's still amazing that he got as much through as he did. Like
exactly,
it's hard to pass any law,
especially with him. Yeah, his 8 years, they've been just constantly trying to just undermine him at every turn, and that's annoying too.
I came up today at work. I always get greeted with a barrage of, hey, what Democrats do this time, and blah, 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 which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, I heard Obamacare is going up 25%. I'm like, well, yeah, ours is going up 12% on the private plan, and we went up 14% prior to Obamacare. It's been going up every year, and it always will.
Yeah, I've never seen it go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and Obamacare didn't address the high cost. It addressed a lot of the criminal practices of the insurance companies. You know, the dropping people that turn in claims, pre-existing conditions by kids. They got to cover that now. So it did a lot there, but big business got involved.
Yeah.
And squashed the national health care part of it.
So that's the thing. When you bring in like competition like that, I like competition in things because it innovates and improves upon things. But when you're seeing like hundreds of billions of dollars being profited off of all this, something like just I know it's a way, step away from like type of view of it, but it's something just doesn't seem like that's a positive thing for society.
That's the downside of capitalism.
Yeah, it just seems like, because I like capitalism.
Sure,
don't get me wrong. Like I actually like the idea of how, whatever.
Yeah, but every system has its flaws.
But yeah, profiting this much off of people's healthcare just doesn't seem right. Yeah. Like on the gut check.
The moral level,
man,
really?
Should this as a, industrialized nation.
Capitalism doesn't work in the health insurance industry because they don't have to apply to antitrust laws. Did you know that?
Really? So they can just keep conglomerating?
There's only 2 or 3 left in the country. There was 3 last time I checked. Now there may only be 2. And it just gets price fixing. It's working together.
Yeah.
I tried to get a quote outside of because we belong to Anthem.
Yeah.
And they're based in Indianapolis when they merged with WellPoint.
Okay.
So they just do whatever they want in Indiana because of the whole money sloth
because that's
thing.
all they...
Right. So I was on the insurance consortium, so I tried to get quotes from outside. I went to Pekin Insurance and a couple other ones. And
this is for school.
This is for school. Yeah, to try and get our rates lower. And everybody I met with was just like, there is nobody else.
Yeah.
You got Anthem, you can go to United Health. That's one of the other ones, but they're another huge deal that's going to be the same thing.
Wow.
So capitalism isn't applied in the health insurance world because it's such a monopoly.
Wow.
Just like the EpiPen.
Oh, yeah.
He can raise it whatever he wants to raise it. It's private, and but when you're dealing with people's health,
it's a moral issue.
It's a moral issue. People will do whatever it takes to take care of their kids or their family, and they know that, and they prey upon that, I think, and they just gouge you to the end.
100%.
So I don't know what the answer is, but people got to start caring, I think, and I don't know.
Yeah,
man, that's scary. Like especially when you get a hospital bill. Not that I've had one, but I've heard people say like they look at the charges and it's just like astronomical.
It's
like
ridiculous.
And insurance is just like it just seems like this big like money.
It's a money factory,
churning.
Yeah. Totally is.
Handshake behind your gurney, like
right.
Like ching. It's like a little cash register ching. Like oh yeah, he's got a broken leg. Ching. That'll be $30,000. Yeah, like oh my god.
Yeah, definitely.
That's right.
I don't know how to fix it either.
Well,
gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back with episode 24 of the P-Funk and Fro Show.
That's not even going to go with the flow of anything. Gear up, but I'm not gearing up for a party to sleep outside.
Where you supposed to be staying? Oh, your friend's house, right? Oh, but there's like a million people there, so you're like questioning.
Yeah, I just thought
you should bring a tent and pitch it inside.
I think I'm just gonna bring a sleeping bag.
Nice. That'd be hilarious though, pitching a tent inside. I should get a tent and pitch it in here and have a camp out in the basement.
That'd be fun.
That's like when I pitched a tent in my yard.
You need to think of another term.
I know, it's starting to sound
You ever
like...
watch Beavis and Butthead?
God dang it.
Yeah, right.
God dang it.
No, I'm fine with it. I'm just telling when he gets out there.
I'm going to put together an outdoor house, a ramshackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to do that.
Use erect a tent. That's much better.
I'm not
erecting anything.
I'm gonna arouse a tent in my front yard.
I'm gonna arouse a tent.
I used to seduce a tent in my front yard when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And we would put a Super Nintendo in there and play Mario World.
Oh, that's funny.
With like extension cords and stuff.
Yeah, we did that with the Nintendo.
It wasn't camping, but it was awesome.
It was in the front yard.
It was in the front yard. Yeah,
we kind of did.
It was the best. It's like
because it's like it feels like it's different. It was fun. Yeah,
it's
I know
novel.
What you're talking about.
It's like ooh, this is like outside.
We got TV.
All the good stuff that inside has.
Right.
Yeah, that was the best.
And the parents can yank the cord at any time.
Yep.
That's enough. I'm just kidding.
I was just about to beat Bowser.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're back. Thank you for joining us, folks. Once again, if you'd like to be part of the Facebook group, it's a vibrant community. People post almost once a week. It's a good time.
There's almost too many people in there, so get in while you can.
It's rowdy, folks. If you want to get in, that's facebook.com/groups/pfunkandfro, and follow us on Twitter at pfunkandfro. Also a vibrant community. Once that gets up to 10 people, we will actually start tweeting. Be a part of the movement.
Maybe we
rise up.
You still don't have 10 followers?
Nope.
I'm not even following yet. That's how bad.
That's not even following our Twitter.
I keep saying that, but like right when I say that, then it's in the podcasting time, and I forget by the time.
Yeah, I completely understand. So become a part of that. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening so far. Once again, we've got my dad, Jerry Pflum, on the podcast. We talked about all sorts of things in the first half of the episode.
Yep.
Talked about education. Talked about politics a lot. It got depressing pretty consistently, but, in a really
informative way.
Yeah, I think it was a really down-to-earth. There was a different kind of change of pace of what we usually do, but I think that was important, and I think it's a good step in our growth.
Definitely.
We're becoming adults slowly.
It's topical. Everybody's stressed about the election. Might as well.
Exactly. It's good to let it out every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope you enjoyed that. We're going to move on to a few other things. We talked a lot about teaching in the first half of the episode. In this half, I want to talk about a few of your favorite stories that you have about your students throughout the years of teaching. So, like, what are some of the crazy... Like, you always come home with, like, you have no idea what happened today.
Oh, no.
If one of those things were to come to mind right now, or a few of them.
No names, obviously, I'm sure.
Right. They're gonna
call out.
Not maybe they'll ever listen to this podcast.
Maybe we can.
They'll know who they are.
We usually assume that, and then some random person from work will come up and be like, "So, I heard that part of your podcast." We're like, "Oh,
yeah, exactly."
We have more reach than we expected.
Or like Trump catches wind and we're trashing him.
Yeah,
and he retweets it, and everybody's like,
"This podcast is gonna be huge."
Yeah, you're gonna like win by a landslide.
Sweet.
So what do you think, Mr. Pflum? Like, your social media blew up like sort of sweet.
All good.
That would be cool. That would be neat.
Yeah,
but that's probably not gonna.
You never know. Maybe we can call one of your students. That'd be
We
hilarious.
should just hashtag Trump and all of our things.
I got one you could
Trump.
call. He's dying to help me in the campaign. He wants one of my shirts. He's wanting signs to put up. He don't even live in our county, but he's like gung ho. I was like,
he's gonna advertise.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm a good kid.
That's awesome.
But stories.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
One you mentioned, it was during the break or before.
Punching the glass.
Punching the glass. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
We had a group of kids back we got like a computer lab and then a classroom that's separate, and then we have the shop area, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of every week, we're supposed to go out and we clean the shop up, pick tools up, just organize. Well, obviously most kids don't like cleaning.
Yeah. So down there on the bottom rungs.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
I understand, but a few of them went back into the computer lab and was getting on the computers and just, cruising around, just goofing off. Yeah. And so I went back and said, hey, come on, we need to go out and clean up. Came back in 10 minutes and they were still sitting there. Mm-mm. So I reached up and just turned the monitor off. Yeah. Right? And said, let's go.
Yeah.
Walked out in the shop. Next thing I heard was,
oh, no.
I walked back inside and the kid's standing there with his arm down and just blood running off of
my
it.
God.
And the glass is standing there, laying on the ground. I'm like, what'd you do? He said, I punched it.
He punched the monitor?
No, he punched the glass in the room.
It was like a glass window.
He got mad because I turned the monitor off on him, and instead of, I guess, which is good, instead of punching me,
yeah,
he put his hand through the glass.
Man, that is scary because you could cut an artery or something.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Grabbed his hand and said, come on. So we wrapped his arm up and walked up the office. And funny thing about it, 3 years later, he graduated that year. He come cruising back in school with his wife and kid and introduced me to his family. And,
That's,
dang.
I mean, I didn't get mad at him or nothing. I was just like, it was silly on his part, obviously. But
did you like cringe when he walked up with his family?
Yeah, I was like,
don't punch me.
This is the teacher that I almost, but no.
Just block a window. Just stand in front of the window.
Yeah, lower the shade. That's not a window over there.
You know what? I may have said something like that. Like, step away from the window or something like that when he walked up.
I was just saying he'd laugh it off, then you'd hear off in the distance. Like really has that aggression still.
Right, it's still there.
I'm just kidding.
His kid does it.
Yes,
his little baby kid.
His little baby.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
That's cool. He came back and visited.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's one of the more rewarding parts of the job.
Yeah,
it is.
Seeing it when people work out,
and a lot of times the ones you think hate you because you're on them every day for doing stuff.
Yeah,
don't hate you. They build I don't know if it's respect or what, but I put up with pretty much before I send them up to the office for whatever the case may be. And every time when I do send them up and we sit down with our meetings or whatever, and their principal's like, well, did you do this, this, and this? And they're like, yep. Well, did he tell you not to do this, this, and this? Yep. So
pretty open and shut case.
Yeah, it's open and shut case. And they're like, no, he's a terrible teacher and he made this up and that up. I've never had that.
He told me to punch the glass.
Exactly.
He shouldn't have made me mad.
Yeah,
I was playing RuneScape on the computer.
Exactly. You don't understand.
Yeah. That's probably the major one. One other one was just kind of funny. The kid was kind of squirrely. And we used to have English class. We're tech school, right? But if they need an English credit, they could come out there and they could leave for a little bit, take an English class, and come back.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, English starts today, and let's say it's 10 o'clock. So they left. 10:03, he comes walking back in. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I got kicked out.
Oh, my God.
Like, in 3 minutes? That's got to be some kind of record.
That sounds like a record, yeah.
That was funny.
That's hilarious.
Did he use a word improperly? Get out!
Yes.
We had a teacher that was pretty no nonsense. He was kind of retired, but he had come back to help us with the English class.
Oh, I remember stories about this guy. He was giving crap,
and he didn't put up.
He didn't put
nothing.
up with.
No. So the kid might have walked in and said, "I ain't got a pencil or something." He's like,
"Out
here." Yeah, I don't remember what the case was, but it was a record time.
Wow.
He forgot the Oxford comma.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like improper nouns or something.
Yeah.
Right.
You're better than this.
Yeah, so that's two that stand out. I mean, there's many. You could go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
And you said your mom taught, so I'm sure you've heard a lot of these stories
Chairs
as well.
thrown and all sorts.
Did you have Bobby Knight in her class or something?
One girl put her sweater on one of the burners for chemistry.
Yeah.
And it caught on fire, and she blamed somehow my mom got blamed or something like that. And then just chairs thrown out. Yeah, just general whatever. They have teachers that rotate out to hall duty where they wash, and that's just a nightmare.
Yeah, I gotta imagine.
Basically, you're a paid security. You're a bouncer, a teacher, a mentor, a therapist,
hall monitor.
Yeah, and you got to teach science.
And they gotta all get A's.
And they all have to get A's.
Right, exactly.
Even the stupid ones. No, they're not stupid. I'm kidding.
But it's true.
I was stupid.
So this actually brings up a kind of what kind of a kid were you in school, Anthony? Because we never really talked about this. Because I don't think if I were to guess, I could peg.
Yeah.
I don't think I could decide.
So
because I feel like you could easily be class clown, but you could be that. I feel like you could. It's just as easily be the good kid that every teacher likes. So I don't really.
I was actually none of those.
Really?
I was very quiet, never really brought attention to myself at all.
Really?
Had a core group of friends, so I wasn't overly popular, but I wasn't the weird smelly kid or something. And so
you weren't Big Ben.
Yeah, I was I was real vanilla. I don't know, I was real quiet. The class the goofy bouncing on, because I can kind of see how you can see that now.
Sure, I feel like a lot of people would make that assumption. Yeah.
But like some people also thought, because I wore glasses or something, they just thought I was super. Maybe just thought I was a giant nerd
because you wore glasses.
I tried to figure it out, but everybody just thought I got straight A's, and I was probably because I was just I don't know, maybe nerdy or whatever.
I guess, yeah. Sure.
But yeah, no, I was mediocre in school until college when I really got into actually learning.
Yeah, that's when you
weird.
just started reading books and getting into actual.
Yeah, tons. I felt like I was
stuff.
Missed out on a lot of stuff, but I mean, I never really was a troublemaker. I had like the BB shooters. Did we talk about those?
Oh yes, that was one of the first episodes.
Okay, yeah.
How you ran a racket and sold a bunch of weapons to kids.
Yeah, so I've had my times.
Oh, great! Exactly. You're one of them kids.
Yeah, I'm one of the. I just had. I
can't believe that
weapons.
Came up.
Yeah,
that's one of the first stories that you told randomly on this podcast that made me think this is gonna work out.
I had an arms manufacturing company when I was in 7th grade.
He sold them on the bus.
Yeah, they were semi-automatic BB shooters.
It shot BBs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was quite a nice operation while it lasted.
Yeah, it sounded smooth.
So but that was more of like an entrepreneur-y type.
And that's when you were really young, right? Like
7th, 8th grade.
Okay, so not as young as that.
But again, I wasn't trying to like cause problems. I just was making something that people wanted, and then I sold it.
Yeah.
Just so happens that they were weapons. So, like nowadays, I would have been expelled.
Oh my
100%.
god! Post 9/11, you'd be gone.
Like I even sold the BBs, so it was like, yeah. But that's a long story that we kind of already went through. But honestly, so in school, I was mediocre. And I kind of went through a early partying phase where I like had school and the back burners at Ohio State. And then halfway through sophomore year, I had to like really buckle down because I was like going like my counselor or whatever. It was like a trend where I was going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
So it was like a big like emergency mode, like, okay, like I need to not get kicked out. And so I turned it like around, but it went like way the opposite direction. And that was good because when you like screw yourself over a GPA in college, it takes a lot to get it back up.
Yeah.
I went through basically, it was 2 just really bad quarters. And it took a while to get that back up.
So where'd you go?
I went for everything.
College.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, I went to Newark of Ohio State my first year because I was in the bottom half of my high school, and that turned out to be good for me because it was a nice transition. Newark of Ohio State was like a high school size, but it was still college. You're on your own, so it was like getting your feet wet,
like
type
a half
thing.
step.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like if I was slammed right in Ohio State, it could have, I may have came back home, with my tail between my legs. Because when I went from Newark, like on my own, in like an apartment building there, to a main campus of Ohio State, it was like shell shock. That's how big it was. Dang. And it was just like, the military almost, like a machine. You're just processed through. Like as you're onboarding, so it was really intimidating. Like there's just huge lines of cars of incoming freshmen.
Dang.
I was a sophomore, but I was still technically onboarding basically on main campus.
Right.
And it was just intimidating seeing like thousands of kids being processed in. And you don't really know. I had my friends, but they were living off campus. So yeah. So I'm getting off track here. But so yeah, basically I just fell in love with learning, and I, like you said, I just started reading tons of books and like nonfiction type things outside of class, things like that.
Nice.
But I mean, I wasn't a horrible student growing up, but I definitely was mediocre.
I see.
And my parents would say so.
I see.
Because I wasn't dumb. I just didn't
wasn't that great.
like it. I just didn't really. I always had this feeling of like being force fed things.
Yeah.
Whereas college was so different, where it was like I got to pick. It kind of felt like I could choose my own path. But I understand the necessity of having the basics, and like every kid has got to learn, basic arithmetic and English and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And on a side note, I'm more of like a sciencey English writing side as opposed to like math.
Gotcha. What side of the brain is that? Isn't there like a left or right side? Is that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
because like math is more like analytical, and the other side is more creative, I guess. Yeah. But is that still a thing? I don't even know.
I think so. People call it like, I'm left brain because I'm artistic or something like that. I don't remember which one is which.
Maybe they call me autistic. I'm just kidding. So how were you in school?
So I like to describe myself as a band jock.
And your father's here that raised you.
Yeah,
just so FYI. And my dad's probably listening
hopefully
too.
Hopefully it's not like the Dave episode where I'm like, this is how it was, and he's like, no.
That's not what you said yesterday in the car.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you said yesterday in the car.
Yeah, right.
Like, how often do you guys talk about this? No, I'm just kidding.
So Rising Sun, I grew up in Rising Sun, went to Rising Sun Elementary and then high school in Rising Sun. And we didn't have cliques as much as other high schools did. Yeah. I feel like it was kind of just like everybody intermingled as much as they could. And my friend group was kind of like, they always naturally separate kind of like the upper grades with the lower grade kids in different classes when you're growing up in like middle school or whatever. Just naturally, I was in like the upper, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
Got better grades, top 5 class.
Oh,
so
wow.
most of my friends that I hung out with were kind of in that, but we weren't like the nerdy kind. So it's like we got good grades and everything, but it was basically because we understood the system and understood what you had to do to get good grades.
Okay.
So we would like help each other out and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
I see.
And I didn't play any sports, but I had friends on all the sports teams and whatever. There weren't really thick boundaries in Redmond.
So what is the graduating class size at that school?
Like 60.
Oh, wow.
Of the high school?
Because I went to Moeller and they had 2240, and that was considered small. 60
people in the graduating class. It's smaller now, too.
Yeah, this year's only like 38 or something, but it's one of those.
Holy cow. I had no idea it was that small.
Yeah, so I was
not
like...
there's anything wrong with it, but it's...
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
That makes sense that there wasn't huge dividing lines between cliques because...
Everybody knows everybody.
Like one person could have their own clique. Like I'm this dude. This is my clique. Deal with it. Just like boom.
Right. Yeah. And you'll always have people that are like separated out or whatever, like rejected or whatever. But But there wasn't defined like the nerds, the jocks, like because there were people on the basketball team and in the band.
Yeah, you guys had to cross.
Yeah, so it crossed borders
Nerd
a lot.
basketball jocks. Yeah.
And I hung out with like basically everyone, really.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say a class clown, but I wasn't quiet at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds like you were outspoken and
I was outspoken, but not like disruptively outspoken, I'd say.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just got decent grades. I was 5th in my class graduating, so that was pretty cool.
Were there class clowns? Like, were there like disruptive kids? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You always see those too.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Did you like high school? Because everybody that goes through high school, it seems like, hates it. But like, I really enjoyed my time in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, it's easy. All my friends live next to me. I can hang out with them all the time, and none of them have jobs.
It does seem like...
thinking about it now, it's like, that sounds like the best thing in the world. And obviously, I'm glad that I'm out of it. And, you know, there are a million more opportunities. But, like, I really enjoyed my time in high school. And
you're right. I think a lot of people... Because it's that, like, teenage angst type years. Yeah. And you're like, I hate my parents. And, like, oh, this school, I don't want to do this. Everything's forced and whatever.
Yeah.
But... I mean, mine was more, so I was like quiet, and so I went to Mainville out in Morrow.
Okay.
Like Ohio, like born and raised or whatever, Mainville Elementary.
Smaller.
And so that was like a public, smaller school out in the country. And then my parents, like, we kind of decided I was going to Moeller, which is in Montgomery, which is quite far, like, distance.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was kind of transplanted. So my first 2 years at Moeller was difficult and challenging, I guess you could say, just because I didn't have a ton of friends or whatever. Yeah. But then I got a core group of friends, and my second 2 years I loved. Like, it was whatever.
Nice.
It was fun. But yeah, it was tough. But I think you're right. Like, it's just, I'm sure your dad sees it all the time. Like, it's a tough time of life, I guess, because you're trying to, like, find yourself and you still have rigid rules you got to do, but you're in, like, the prime of your rebellious stage where you're wanting to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just a tough time of year or time of life.
Yeah.
But you're still also in this system.
Yeah. I think the reason I liked it so much is that I didn't really care about any of that crap. I was just like, I'm going to have fun and play video games. And I'm not really worried about any of this. I didn't have my crises until after I graduated high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was always pretty smooth for me. You liked high school, right? You always talk about how, Yeah.
So what high school did you go to?
Same one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Rising Sun, yeah.
So has the building been upgraded or?
It has, not much, not size-wise, just added a gym and cafeteria to the one, because we used to have to walk for lunch from the high school to the elementary school, because we only had one cafeteria for both schools.
Oh, wow.
So we walked over there for lunch every day. So they added that and upgraded it a little bit over the years.
Wow.
But
that's cool they kept the building. I would prefer the building. Yeah, I just like the history stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you, so was that weird when Austin went to high school and you're just like, circle like life type feeling, like, oh my God, like time's probably obviously flying.
It is. It's crazy.
I had some of the same
and
teachers.
you guys are probably, it's same teachers. Yeah, I just saw one of my teachers when I was
What?
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, were they like Yodas or?
There's still some there that was there when I was there that he had, and they're still there.
Yeah. Oh my God,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I just saw my English teacher. Was Mrs. Williams there when you were there?
Does she have a different?
Pam.
Is it Coconauer now?
Yes, it might be Coconauer.
I think she's still.
She's not there now.
No,
she's retired.
Right. She just retired.
Was she there when you were there?
Yeah, she taught me too. Okay. Yeah, and then Bob too.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah,
Bob White.
He was my baseball coach.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's so
Slash
weird.
my history teacher.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
like some of these teachers were like, and they were all awesome.
Yeah, she was really good. I just saw her campaigning. You know, when you got her knocking on every door in town, and there she was, my English teacher. And I told her, you know, as
That's
a teacher,
awesome.
I like to see kids come back and tell me thanks.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, what you taught me and what we was typing back then, we didn't have cube.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what I learned in typing and what I learned in your class, English, it was college prep English.
Yeah.
I use that more than anything I learned in high school.
It's huge.
You know, how to communicate, how to write stuff so it looks like you got some sense.
Oh yeah.
And the whole typing aspect I used, even when I was a technician working on cars, you know, filling out work orders, you know, conveying your concerns to the customers, whatever.
Yeah, because you're basically presenting yourself within that form of communication.
And she did a really good job, you know, I thought. And I told her.
Oh, yeah.
She was happy to hear that.
Yeah, there was a very fine line in my life before and after I had her class where it's like, before I thought I knew how to write and everything, and then it's like, I hit her class and it's like, no, this is how it is. This is how you write. This is how you convey your message. And it really changed the way I write. And it helps me, too, because we have to write 1 million emails a day, and we have to, like, convey ourselves in an intelligent way. And so, she was fantastic.
Was she, like, tough love type thing, or just that good of a teacher?
Both, I think.
Yeah. I had something kind of like that, but mine was more tough love.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being mean and all. She was always smiling and nice, and you know, this is what she expected.
Yeah,
she had certain standards.
So she's just straight. Yeah, I mean, but that's good.
Yeah.
Having good standards. Yeah.
It was a good
We
class.
both had her.
Yeah,
that's
so.
So like your writing style, you work from home. It could be your dad, like send out you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
Wait a minute.
She probably saw the way he writes and said, "Oh no, not another one that writes that bad."
Another Pflum, another P-Funk. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, freaking Mr. Slayback, the shop teacher, Mr. Slayback or whatever, was his shop teacher. And when I came through, he's like, "Oh, you're Jerry's kid. You must be awesome." And I could have bombed everything in that class, and he would have gave me A's because he's like, "Oh, you know what you're doing," because he did.
Residual grading.
Yeah, basically residual grading.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Funny.
Yeah, and I talked to Dustin. He's like, "Yeah, my dad was in that class too, and he loved me because of my dad, and I sucked, but he got A's."
Oh my god.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, he was great. He was a good guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
They're all good.
I just saw his truck the other day.
If they're not retired, they're getting close to retirement, I think. But
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I had fun in high school. It was good. Had a lot of good friends. Hung out every night. That was back in the MTV dawn of MTV when it just came out, and we were huge into music.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we can see our groups every night. You know, on TV. This is awesome. You know.
Wow.
So we get together every night and just watch videos and play euchre and
that
every
sounds
night,
fun.
work night. I mean, school nights didn't matter. We was up till 2, 3 in the morning every night watching videos and cards and cruising around and stuff. And we even students hopefully aren't listening to this. We even skipped school to watch world premiere videos.
Oh,
if
like
a
on
world
TV?
premiere video came out at 1:00 in the afternoon from Motley Crue or whoever was one of our favorites, we'd stay home or we'd leave school early and go to somebody's house and watch world premiere videos.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You gotta have priorities.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was fun.
Yeah, because MTV was like way different from everything else back then.
The astronaut statues and the
I remember
the theme
that
song.
Yeah,
it was cool. Touching on a point you talked about earlier with your BB gun shooters.
Oh yeah.
Your racket.
Talking about how things have changed. When we were in high school, laser tag just came out. You could actually buy it in holster and do it at home. Mm-hmm. So that clique we had, we all bought them.
Wow.
And we'd go out every night. We'd usually go to girlfriend's house or whatever and leave at 11. Then we'd all meet up. We'd all go out in the town and run the whole town playing laser tag. So you can imagine somebody looking out in their backyard now and seeing somebody with a gun.
That's what I was just thinking. Like some old lady, like Carl, there's spacemen running around. Like get back to bed, dear.
Exactly.
That's right. I don't know why, but I was picturing just some old lady looking out her window. Carl,
that's good.
The spacemen are back
every night.
That sounds fun though. Yeah,
doesn't that sound amazing?
It was a blast.
You can get away with that now, dude.
And you couldn't do it now, you know. It's
sad, because you'd be like cops are seem so like frigid or frigid.
Homeowners are probably
skittish.
Yeah, if they saw somebody with a gun in their backyard, they'd shoot you.
They're stabbing clowns. They would definitely shoot a guy with a fake gun.
Especially because like crime rate has actually dropped consistently for the last 20 years. Yet like on TV, you would never know about it. It's actually like gone up like the whatever.
Yeah.
Like what they're actually. I've seen that.
People freaking out about. Yeah.
Yeah. That statistics of that said all the time. So yeah, like you said, not even just police officers, but that I feel like is being overblown too, because there's way more better police officers than there's obviously just shooting people's faces off.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, especially out in like rural, whatever. Yeah, you're gonna get shotgunned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it just ain't. But yeah, just touched on the high school subject. I just thought about that when you said that.
Yeah. That sounds fun. I can picture it.
Playing hacky sack.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice spring night.
Nice spring night, yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
You guys playing hacky sack in the DQ parking lot?
We did.
It's not.
It's
Turn
the radio
DQ
on,
anymore.
play hacky sack, and
yeah.
I mean, it sounds boring to most people, but it's like, hey, it was fun. We hung out, talked.
Yeah. Played a little bit in college. Yeah. It's something to do and just hang. Yeah, it's more of a hangout and just like, like you said, talk.
I got to tell you about this road trip, though, because it's classic.
Nice.
We, in Rising Sun and even in Roaring Lawrenceburg, we didn't have many restaurants, right? So we would get this wild hair 11, 12 o'clock at night. Let's road trip to Florence to go to White Castle.
Because that's the closest, whatever.
The closest one. Or just go to Western Hills and go to Burger King.
You know they made a movie about this. I hope you do. I'm just
Did you have any friends named Harold?
Yeah,
they stole our theme.
They stole your movie.
They did.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. That's cool. That's cool. Exactly. That's funny. So we all, there was like 4 cars, four groups of guys. We all go to White Castle, right? Caravan over to White Castle. We eat, and it's probably 1 o'clock in the morning. So on the way back, one of the cars decides they're going to cruise through the Kroger's parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, they got the outdoor tents set up with all the flowers and stuff they're selling.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they get this idea. Let's just, a couple flowers while we're here. Just,
just
because, just for fun and doing something stupid, So the rest of us cruise on home. So they steal these flowers, half mile up the road, whirling lights come, cars pull in front of them. They get pulled over, and to hear my one buddy tell a story, it's hilarious. He said a cop walks up to the car and says, "Was you boys just in Kroger's parking lot?" He's got this flower pot in his lap.
Oh my God.
He's like, "No, sir."
No, sir. Oh my God. Where'd you get that flower?
Yeah, where'd you get that flower? It's like, needless to say, they got busted. It cost me like $1,400 in lawyer fees just because of a silly road trip to White Castle.
I bet the cop was expecting something else stolen, not like a flower pot.
I expected weed, not weeds.
Yeah, like weed. Not dandelion. What the heck?
Oh my God.
So that was one of our classic small town road trips to the big city.
It would be funny if they were thrown out the window.
Yeah,
what
plants?
Cop's like, why are they throwing potted plants out the window? That's what they stole.
These kids these days. He's watching MTV and throwing flowers.
Watching them damn MTVs.
It is.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So I'm sorry, I said to share that.
That's hilarious.
My high school stories. It was hilarious. I thought it was pretty funny.
No, that sounds fun, like road trip, because that's Austin's doing that, but to major cities almost.
I know.
Road trip
to the next level.
Yeah, Chicago.
Well, I did literally the same thing in high school. Though, like every weekend's like, well, there's nothing here. Let's drive to Florence, because it's still the closest city where there's stuff. It's like close to Rising Sun, Indiana. So
makes sense.
We drove to Florence a lot too.
That's awesome.
Many things didn't change.
Like father, like son.
Yeah,
I gotta say it now.
Never got pulled over by a cop for stealing.
Yet.
Well,
Austin, what are you doing tonight?
Nothing. Nothing.
I think this place needs some potted plants.
No.
Your dad will be our getaway guy.
I got out of the back then. I ain't getting in it now.
That's right.
Getting the game.
I was lucky I wasn't in that car. I could have been in the car. I would have just been
you
been cruising right along, but just so happens who I was riding with wasn't the one that decided to go get the flowers.
You guys ended up getting some sliders and making out like bandits.
We did. Yeah. We did. Yeah.
And on that note.
Wow, is it time already?
Right?
Holy cow, that went fast.
I know. It's already been an hour. I think it's actually been over an hour.
Damn.
Didn't feel like it.
That's good.
But this has been episode 24 of the P-Funk and Fro Show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Yeah, I did too.
This has been a really good episode, I feel like. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, you could subscribe on iTunes or Android podcast services, wherever. If you just Google P-Funk and Fro, we just found out that actually works.
Yeah, you can straight up Google us now.
You can Google us now. We've hit it big.
Yeah.
So do that. Join the group, facebook.com/group/P-Funk and Fro, and follow us on Twitter. All the cool kids are doing it, except for Anthony.
Except for me.
So join us on Twitter. We'll start tweeting. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.